Welcome to my channel. What if you could learn English faster than you ever thought possible, even if you're starting from zero? I know how scary it feels to begin. Trust me, I've been there. I'll never forget the time I tried ordering coffee in English and accidentally said chicken instead of kitchen to describe where I wanted my drink made. The barista's confused face still makes me laugh. But here's the thing. Those embarrassing moments taught me something powerful. Learning English doesn't have to be hard or overwhelming. In this video, I'll share my step-by-step process that took me from a complete beginner to a confident speaker. And it's way easier than you think. Whether you're struggling with words, pronunciation, or just feeling stuck, I've got you covered with simple tips that work. Stick with me through these 6 chapters, and you'll discover how to make English fun and achievable. Ready to start your journey? Let's dive in. Chapter 1: My English Learning Process. When I first started learning English, I felt like I was climbing a giant mountain with no map. There were so many words, grammar rules, and sounds to learn. It was overwhelming. I made a huge mistake. I tried to do everything at once. I spent hours memorizing complex grammar rules like past perfect tense, thinking that's what would make me fluent. Spoiler alert, it didn't. I just felt tired and frustrated, like I was running in circles. Has that ever happened to you? Feeling like you're trying so hard but getting nowhere? Don't worry, because I found a secret that changed everything. Small steps. Taking tiny, manageable steps every day helped me build confidence and actually enjoy learning English. Today I'm going to share how you can do the same so you can start your journey without feeling stressed or lost. Let's talk about why small steps are so powerful. When you try to learn too much at once, your brain gets overloaded. It's like trying to eat a whole pizza in one bite. You can't do it and it's not fun. But if you take small bites, you enjoy every piece, and before you know it, the pizza's gone. Learning English is the same. Small goals keep you motivated and prevent burnout. For example, instead of trying to learn 50 words a day, aim for just 5. That's it. 5 words a day adds up to 35 words a week. And over a month, that's 140 words. Imagine how many conversations you could have with 140 words. The best part? It feels doable, and every time you hit that small goal, you feel like a winner. So, how do you take these small steps? One of my favorite ways is something called micro-learning. It's all about breaking your study time into tiny chunks that fit into your day. For me, I started with just 10 minutes every morning. I'd sit with a cup of tea, open my phone, and use an app like Duolingo to practice a few words or phrases. Those 10 minutes didn't feel like work. They felt like a fun game. Another great tool is flashcards. You can make your own with paper or use an app like Quizlet. Write a word like hello on one side and the meaning or a picture on the other. Flip through 5 cards a day and you'll be amazed at how fast you remember. If apps aren't your thing, try sticky notes. Stick them on your fridge or mirror with words like door or happy. Every time you see them, say the word out loud. It's like sneaking learning into your daily life. Here's a story that shows how powerful small steps can be. When I was a beginner, I was terrified of speaking English in public. I'd practice words at home, But in a store or cafe, I'd freeze. One day, I decided to try a tiny goal: order a coffee in English. I practiced the phrase, "Can I have a small coffee, please?" about 20 times at home. I was so nervous walking into that cafe, my hands were shaking. But when I said the phrase, the barista smiled, nodded, and handed me my coffee. It wasn't perfect, I probably sounded funny, but I did it. That moment felt like winning a gold medal. I went home and wrote it in my journal, which is another tip I'll share in a second. That small win gave me the courage to try more conversations, and it all started with one simple sentence. Speaking of journals, tracking your progress is a game changer. Get a small notebook and write down what you learn each day. It could be 5 new words, a phrase you said correctly, or even a mistake you made and fixed. For example, one day I wrote, learned apple, banana, and eat, said, I eat apple to my friend. Seeing those entries pile up made me realize I was moving forward, even when it didn't feel like it. Plus, it's so fun to look back and see how far you've come. Try this. Tonight, write down 3 words you want to learn tomorrow. It takes 2 minutes, but it keeps you focused and excited. Another big part of small steps is celebrating your wins, no matter how tiny they seem. Did you say thank you to someone in English? That's a win. Did you understand a word in a song? That's a win. Every step counts. When I started, I'd treat myself to a piece of chocolate every time I hit a goal, like learning 5 words. Find something that makes you happy, a snack, a short break, or even a quick dance to your favorite song. These little rewards make learning feel like a treat, not a chore. And trust me, the more you celebrate, the more you'll want to keep going. Here's a challenge to get you started. Today, pick 3 English words you want to learn. They could be simple, like cat, run, or smile. Say them out loud, write them down, and try using them in a sentence. For example, I see a cat. It's small, but it's a step forward. Share one of those words in the comments below. I'd love to see what you're learning. This challenge is your first tiny goal, and I promise it'll feel so good when you do it. Taking small steps isn't just about learning faster. It's about feeling good while you learn. That cafe moment I told you about? It wasn't just about coffee. It was about believing I could do this. Every small step you take builds that same belief in you. And here's the best part. These steps are preparing you for something bigger. To really grow your English, you need a strong foundation, and that starts with words. In the next chapter, we're going to dive into building your vocabulary in a fun, easy way that makes those small steps even more powerful. So keep watching, because you're just getting started. Chapter 2. Building a strong vocabulary foundation. Welcome back to my English learning journey. In the last chapter, we talked about taking small steps to make learning fun and easy. Now, let's build on that with something super important: vocabulary. Words are like the building blocks of English. Imagine trying to build a house without bricks. It's impossible, right? That's what trying to speak English without enough words feels like. When I started, I thought I needed to learn thousands of words to be good at English. But I was wrong. You just need the right words to start communicating. Today, I'm going to share how I built a strong vocabulary foundation with simple tricks that made words stick in my brain. Plus, I'll tell you a funny mistake I made that'll make you laugh and show you it's okay to mess up. Ready? Let's get started. Why is vocabulary so important? Words let you express what you want, like saying, "I'm hungry," or "I like music." Without words, you can't share your thoughts or understand others. But here's the good news. You don't need every word in the dictionary. I learned to focus on high-frequency words first, the ones you hear and use all the time, like eat, go, happy, or home. These words are like the superstars of English because they show up everywhere, in conversations, movies, even songs. For example, if you know want, you can say, "I want water," or "I want to play." Just a few words unlock so many sentences. When I started learning these, I felt like I was cracking a secret code. It made English feel less scary and way more exciting. So, how do you learn these words in a way that's easy and sticks? My favorite trick is the context method. This means learning words by connecting them to real-life situations. For example, when I learned the word apple, I didn't just memorize it from a list. I held an apple, took a bite, and said, "This is an apple." It was like the word came alive. Try this. When you learn run, go for a quick jog or move your legs and say, "I run." Or when you learn happy, smile big and say, "I'm happy." This makes words feel real, not just random sounds. The context method helped me remember words faster because my brain tied them to something I could see, touch, or feel. It's like gluing the word to your memory. Let me share a funny story to show why mistakes are part of the fun. Early on, I went to a restaurant and wanted to ask where the kitchen was because I was curious about how they made their food. But instead of saying kitchen, I said chicken. I confidently asked, "Where is the chicken?" The waiter looked so confused, like I was asking for a live bird. I turned red, but we both laughed, and he kindly corrected me. That moment taught me two things. One, I learned the difference between kitchen and chicken. And two, mistakes aren't the end of the world. They're actually how you learn. So don't be afraid to mess up. It's just a step toward getting better. Now, let's talk about tools to build your vocabulary. One of my favorites is a vocabulary notebook. It's super simple but so powerful. Here's how it works. Get a small notebook and write down 5 to 10 new words each day. For each word, write its meaning, a sentence using it, and maybe a little drawing. For example, for dog, I'd write dog, an animal that barks. Sentence, I see a dog. Drawing, a stick figure dog. This makes learning fun and creative. Want to see how I do it? Picture this. I'm sitting at my desk writing sun in my notebook. I draw a big, smiling sun. Write, "The sun is bright," and say it out loud. It takes 5 minutes, but it sticks. You can also use apps like Quizlet, which is like digital flashcards. You type in words, and it quizzes you with games. I used Quizlet every night before bed, and it felt like playing, not studying. Another tip is to surround yourself with words. Put sticky notes on things at home, like table on your table or door on your door. Every time you walk by, say the word. It's like your house becomes your teacher. You can also listen to songs or watch shows with simple words. I loved watching kids' shows because they use words like big, small, or run a lot. Pause and repeat the words you hear. These little habits add up, and soon you'll know dozens of words without even trying. Here's a challenge for you. This week, learn 10 new high-frequency words. Pick easy ones like eat, drink, love, or walk. Write them in your notebook or on sticky notes. Use the context method and try saying them in sentences. For example, I eat rice. Share one of your words in the comments. I can't wait to see what you choose. This challenge is fun, and by the end of the week, you'll feel so proud of those 10 words. Building your vocabulary is like collecting tools for a toolbox. Each word you learn helps you say more and understand more. And here's where it gets exciting. The more words you know, the easier it is to start speaking. In the next chapter, we'll talk about how to use those words to speak with confidence, even as a beginner. So, keep watching, because your English is about to take off. Chapter 3. Speaking with Confidence, even as a beginner. Welcome back, everyone. In the last chapter, we built a strong vocabulary foundation with words like eat and happy. Now, it's time to use those words to start speaking English. I know what you're thinking. Speaking is scary. Trust me, I felt the same way. When I started, I was terrified of saying words wrong or sounding silly. My heart would race just thinking about talking to someone in English. But here's the secret I learned. You don't need to be perfect to speak. You just need to start, and it's easier than you think. In this chapter, I'm going to share how I went from being too shy to speak to chatting with confidence, even as a beginner. I'll show you simple tricks to practice without stress and a fun way to sound more natural. Plus, I'll tell you about a moment that made me feel like I could do anything. Let's dive in. Let's talk about why speaking feels so hard. For me, it was all about fear. Fear of making mistakes, fear of people laughing, fear of not being understood. I'd practice words at home, but in a store or with a stranger, I'd freeze. Sound familiar? The good news is, you can overcome this fear by practicing in places where nobody judges you. One of my favorite ways was talking to myself. I'd stand in front of my mirror and say things like, "Hi, I'm happy today," or "I want water." It felt silly at first, but it helped me hear my own voice and get comfortable with English sounds. If you have a pet, even better. I'd talk to my cat saying, "You're a good cat." She didn't care if I mispronounced anything, and it made me laugh. These low-pressure moments built my confidence bit by bit, like warming up before a big game. Another amazing technique is called shadowing. This means mimicking native speakers to copy their pronunciation and rhythm. I'd watch a kids' show or a YouTube video with simple English, like a cooking tutorial saying, "Add salt." I'd pause, repeat, "add salt," exactly like they did, and try to match their tone. It's like being an actor. You can shadow anything, a song, a movie line, or even a phrase from this video. Try it with me now. Say, I like English. Pause, listen to how I say it, and repeat. Fun, right? Shadowing helped me sound more natural and made speaking feel less like a test. Start with short clips, maybe 10 seconds, and repeat them a few times. It's a small step that makes a big difference. Now let's talk about starting real conversations. You don't need long sentences to talk, just simple phrases. Phrases like, "Can you help me?" or "Thank you" are perfect for beginners. I made a list of 10 easy phrases and practiced them until they felt natural. For example, "How much is this?" worked great at stores. The key is to start with short, practical conversations that make you feel successful. Let's do a role play to practice one right now. Imagine you're at a cafe and I'm the barista. Watch me, then repeat after me. Me. Welcome. Do you want coffee? You say, yes, small coffee, please. Let's try it again. Me. Welcome. Do you want coffee? Now you. Yes, small coffee, please. Great job. This simple dialogue is something you can use tomorrow. Practice it a few times and you'll feel ready to try it in real life. Here's a story that shows how far small steps can take you. After months of practicing alone, I decided to make my first phone call in English to book a haircut. I was so nervous my hands were sweaty. I wrote down what to say. Hello, can I book a haircut for tomorrow? I practiced it 20 times, pacing around my room. When I called, the person said, sure, what time? I answered, morning, please. And we set it up. It wasn't perfect, I stumbled a bit, but I did it. When I hung up, I danced around my house like I'd won a prize. That call was a huge milestone because it proved I could speak and be understood. You'll have moments like that too, and they feel amazing. Speaking isn't just about saying words, it's also about training your ears. The more you speak, the better you get at listening to others, because you start noticing how words sound in real conversations. In the next chapter, we'll dive into listening skills to help you understand English like a pro. But before we go, here's a challenge. Try shadowing one phrase today. Pick something simple like, hello, how are you, from a video or song. Say it 5 times, copying the speaker. Then share in the comments what phrase you chose. I'd love to know. You're already building confidence, and I'm so proud of you. Keep watching because your speaking skills are about to shine. Chapter 4. Listening like a native. Hey, welcome back to our English learning journey. In the last chapter, we got you speaking with confidence using simple phrases and shadowing. Now, let's tackle another big piece of the puzzle. Listening. Listening is like the key that unlocks understanding English in real life, whether it's a conversation, a movie, or a song. When I started, listening to native speakers felt like trying to catch water in my hands. It just slipped away. They talked so fast, and I could barely pick out a single word. But I found a way to make listening fun and easy, and it changed everything. In this chapter, I'll share how I went from struggling to hear anything to understanding English like a native. We'll talk about a trick called active listening, some super fun ways to practice, and even break down a clip together. Ready to train your ears? Let's do this. Why is listening so important? If you can't understand what people are saying, it's hard to answer back or feel confident. Listening helps you learn how words sound, pick up new phrases, and even copy the way natives talk. At first, I thought I was bad at listening because native speakers were too fast. But the problem wasn't me. It was how I was practicing. I was just hearing English, not really listening. That's when I discovered active listening. Active listening means paying close attention to what you hear, like a detective looking for clues. Instead of letting words wash over you, you focus on catching specific things, like a word you know or the main idea. This made listening feel like a game, and suddenly, I started understanding more than I ever thought I could. One of my favorite ways to practice active listening is by watching English cartoons with subtitles. Cartoons are perfect for beginners because they use simple words and clear voices. Shows like Peppa Pig or Bluey are great. They're fun, and the characters don't talk too fast. I'd watch a short scene, maybe 2 minutes, with English subtitles on. The subtitles helped me match the words I heard to the ones I read. For example, if Peppa said, "I jump in puddles," I'd see "jump" and "puddles" on the screen and hear them at the same time. After a while, I'd turn off the subtitles and try to catch those words just by listening. It was like leveling up in a video game. You can find these shows on YouTube or streaming apps, and they're a happy way to learn. Let's try something fun right now. Imagine we're watching a clip from a kid's show. The character says, "The dog runs fast." If I played that clip, you might only hear "dog" or "fast" at first. Let's break it down. Listen again. The dog runs fast. The key words are dog, runs, and fast. Those tell you the main idea. A dog is running quickly. Don't worry about "the" or other small words yet. They're like background noise. I'd pause the clip, repeat "dog runs fast," and say it out loud myself. Try it with me. The dog runs fast. See how that feels? Breaking down a clip like this makes listening less scary and more like solving a puzzle. You can do this with any short video. Pause, pick out 2 or 3 key words, and repeat them. It's super interactive and builds your skills fast. Another great tool is slow-paced podcasts or audio clips. I loved podcasts made for English learners, like ESL Pod or BBC Learning English. They speak clearly and use beginner-friendly words. I'd listen to a 5-minute episode while eating breakfast, focusing on catching words I knew like eat or home. If I missed something, I'd rewind and listen again. Rewinding is your superpower. It lets you hear the same thing until it clicks. You can also use apps like Audible or Spotify to find short stories or songs in English. Start with something slow, like a children's song, and listen for words you've learned, like happy or sun. The more you hear those words, the easier they are to spot in real conversations. Here's a pro tip. Focus on key words and ignore filler words. In English, words like like, or don't always matter. If someone says, I like to eat, pizza. The key words are, I like eat pizza. That's the main idea. When I started ignoring fillers, I understood so much more. Try this when you watch a video or talk to someone. Listen for the big words that carry the meaning like go, want, or good. It's like turning down the noise and tuning into the signal. This trick made me feel like I was finally getting the hang of listening. One challenge I faced was feeling discouraged when I didn't understand everything. But here's what I learned. You don't need to catch every word to get the point. If you hear dog and run, you know something about a dog running. That's enough to keep going. I'd celebrate small wins, like understanding one sentence in a cartoon. Those wins added up, and soon I could follow whole scenes. You'll get there too. Just keep practicing a little every day. Here's a challenge for you. Watch a 2-minute clip from a cartoon, or listen to a short podcast this week. Pick one word you understand, like play or big, and share it in the comments below. I'm so excited to see what you choose. This small step will make your ears sharper and your confidence stronger. Listening is like a bridge to the rest of English. The more you understand, the easier it is to notice patterns, like how sentences are built. That's going to make grammar feel way more natural, which we'll talk about in the next chapter. So, keep watching, because your listening skills are about to soar. Chapter 5. Simplifying Grammar for Beginners. Welcome back to our English learning adventure. In the last chapter, we sharpened our listening skills to understand English like a native. Now let's tackle something that scares a lot of beginners: grammar. I get it. Grammar sounds like a big, complicated monster with rules that never end. When I started learning English, I was obsessed with getting every rule perfect. I'd spend hours studying things like conditional sentences, only to forget them the next day. It was frustrating, and I felt like I'd never get it. But then I discovered a simpler way to learn grammar that made it feel easy and fun. In this chapter, I'm going to show you how to make grammar your friend, not your enemy. We'll focus on practical rules you can use right away, and I'll share a visual trick to help it all make sense. Plus, we'll laugh at some mistakes I made so you can avoid them. Let's jump in. Let's start with why grammar doesn't have to be scary. Grammar is just the way we put words together to make sentences. It's like a recipe for cooking. If you know the basic steps, you can make something delicious without being a chef. When I stopped trying to learn every rule at once, I realized I only needed a few simple ones to start talking. For example, knowing how to say, I want coffee, or she is happy, let me communicate without worrying about fancy stuff like past perfect tense. The key is to focus on practical grammar, things you can use every day. This made me feel like I was actually getting somewhere, and it took away the fear that grammar was too hard for me. My favorite way to learn grammar is the building block approach. This means mastering one rule at a time, like stacking blocks to build a tower. Start with something easy, like the present tense, before moving to trickier things like past tense. For example, I focused on sentences like, I eat rice, or he runs fast. These use the present tense, which is just about things happening now. Once I got comfortable with those, I added another block, like, I ate rice, for the past. By learning one piece at a time, I didn't feel overwhelmed, and each new rule felt like a small win. You can do this too. Just pick one grammar point, practice it, and move on when you're ready. Let's do a whiteboard-style explanation to make this super clear. Picture me standing at a whiteboard, marker in hand. I want to show you how to make a simple sentence with subject plus verb plus object. The subject is who's doing something, the verb is the action, and the object is what they're acting on. For example, I eat apples. I is the subject, eat is the verb, and apples is the object. Let's try another. She reads books. She is the subject, reads is the verb, books is the object. Easy, right? Now let's write one together. Say it with me. He plays football. See how it follows the same pattern? This structure is like a magic formula. You can plug in different words to say tons of things like, I drink water or they watch TV. Now let's talk about common mistakes and how to fix them. When I started, I'd say things like, I is happy instead of I am happy. Big oops, the fix is simple. With I, always use am, like I am tired or I am here. Another mistake was forgetting the S in present tense verbs with he or she. I'd say she run instead of she runs. The rule is add S to the verb for he, she, or it, like he eats or it jumps. These mistakes are normal, and catching them helped me get better. Try writing a sentence like, she likes music, and check if you got the S right. If you mess up, no worries, just laugh and try again. Here's a story to show why mistakes are okay. One day I tried telling a friend, I am go to store. My friend smiled and said, you mean I am going to the store? I felt embarrassed for a second, but then I realized she was helping me learn. That correction stuck with me, and now I never forget going. Mistakes are like little teachers. They show you what to fix. So, don't be afraid to try, even if it's not perfect. Every sentence you say is a step forward. Here's a challenge for you. Write one sentence a day using the subject plus verb plus object structure. Try something like, I read a book or he eats pizza. Write it in your notebook or share it in the comments. I'd love to see it. This tiny habit will make grammar feel natural and fun. Grammar is like the glue that holds your words together, and once you know a few basics, you'll want to keep practicing every day. Chapter 6: Staying Consistent and Motivated. Welcome back to the final chapter of our English learning journey. We've covered so much, taking small steps, building vocabulary, speaking with confidence, listening like a native, and simplifying grammar. But there's one last piece that ties it all together: staying consistent and motivated. Learning English isn't a race, it's a journey, and the secret to reaching fluency is showing up every day, even just a little. When I started, I struggled to keep going. Some days, I'd forget words or feel like I wasn't improving, but I found ways to make learning a fun, daily habit and stay excited about it. In this chapter, I'm going to share how I built a routine that worked, kept my motivation high, and turned setbacks into steps forward. I'll also tell you about a moment that made every effort worth it. Let's finish strong and get you ready to keep your English journey going. Consistency is the glue that holds your learning together. You don't need hours of study, just small, regular efforts. I started with a simple routine, 15 minutes of English every morning. I'd wake up, grab my coffee, and spend 5 minutes reviewing vocabulary, 5 minutes practicing a phrase like, I want tea, and 5 minutes listening to a kid's song. Those 15 minutes were easy to fit in, and they added up fast. Over weeks, those short sessions helped me remember words, speak better, and understand more. To make your own routine, pick a time that works for you, maybe morning, lunch break, or before bed. Choose 1 or 2 activities, like reading a sentence or watching a cartoon clip. Write it down, like 10 minutes at 7 p.m. Practice 5 words. A plan keeps you on track, and even 10 minutes a day can work wonders. Motivation is just as important as consistency. When I started, I'd get bored or discouraged, especially when I couldn't remember a word. To stay excited, I joined online English communities. I found groups on apps like Discord or Reddit, like English for Beginners, where learners shared tips and practiced together. It was like having a team cheering me on. I'd post a sentence like, I eat apples, and get kind replies or corrections. Those groups made me feel like I wasn't alone. You can find communities on social media, forums, or even language apps like HelloTalk. Try joining one and saying, Hi, I'm learning English. You'll meet people just like you, and their encouragement will keep you going. Another way to stay motivated is with rewards. I'd tell myself, if I study for 15 minutes, I can watch an episode of my favorite show. It was like a treat for my brain. You can use anything you love, a snack, a walk, or listening to music. For example, after practicing 5 phrases, I'd eat a piece of chocolate. Those little rewards made studying feel fun, not like work. Try this. Pick a reward and tie it to a small goal, like, after I learn 3 words, I'll play a game for 10 minutes. It's amazing how much this keeps you excited to learn every day. Setbacks are normal, but they don't have to stop you. I'd have days where I'd forget simple words like saying door instead of window. It felt like I was going backward, but I learned to reframe setbacks as learning opportunities. Instead of getting upset, I'd laugh and say, okay, now I'll never forget window. Mistakes show you what to work on. If you struggle with a phrase, write it down and practice it the next day. Keep a positive mindset. Every mistake is a step closer to fluency. Tell yourself, I'm learning, and that's what counts. This attitude kept me moving forward, even on tough days. Here's a story that shows why sticking with it is worth it. After months of practicing, I was at a store, trying to ask for help in English. I said, Can you help me find bread? The cashier not only understood me, but smiled and said, Your English is really good. I was shocked. Me? Good English? I felt like I was floating. That compliment was a huge reward for all my small efforts, every 15-minute session, every word I learned. It showed me that consistency pays off. You'll have moments like that too, where someone notices your progress, and it'll feel amazing. Here's a challenge for you. Make a 10-minute study plan for this week. Pick a time and one activity. like practicing 5 words or listening to a song. Stick to it for 7 days and share in the comments how it went. I can't wait to hear. Also, join an online English group and say hi. It's a small step that'll keep you motivated. Everything we've talked about, small steps, vocabulary, speaking, listening, grammar, and now consistency, works together to make you fluent. Each piece builds on the others, like a puzzle coming together. You're already on your way, and with a little practice every day, you'll be amazed at how far you go. Wow, we made it through the whole journey together. If you loved this video and want more tips to learn English fast, hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update. Your support means the world to me. If you found these steps helpful, give this video a big thumbs up. It really helps the channel grow. I'd also love to hear from you. Comment below with one English word you learned today, like happy or eat. Let's build a community of learners. Next week, I'm sharing 10 phrases to sound like a native speaker, so stay tuned for that. Keep practicing, and I'm cheering you on every step of the way. You've got this. See you in the next video.